Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Chandra Ballabha Giridharidhari Gopi Chandra Ballabha Giridharidhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Chandra Ballabha Giridharidhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, so we're continuing our reading from the Srimad-bhagavatam, starting a new chapter. Chapter is 23, called the Dynasties of the Sons of Yayati. So there's a chapter summary. Maybe we don't need to read the chapter summary. It's another description of family lines, which will come right after this in the verses. So we'll just go to verse 1. Oh, sorry. Okay. So verse 1. Most of these verses don't have purports. So I think we were around verse 20 or 21 that we had where there's actually a purport. So we'll chant the first verse. Shri Shuka Uvacha Ano Sabaranas Chakshu Harishnushcha Traya Sutaha Sabanarat Kalanara Srinjayastat-sutastataha Shri Sukha Uvacha Ano Sabanayas Chakshu Harishnushcha Traya Sutaha Sabaranat Kalanara Srinjayastat-sutastataha Shri Sukha Uvacha Ano Sabanayas Chakshu Harishnushcha Traya Sutaha Sabanarat Kalanara Srinjayastat-sutastataha Shri Sukha Uvacha Ano Sabaranas Chakshu Harishnushcha Traya Sutaha Sabanarat Kalanara Srinjayastat-sutastataha Shri Sukha Uvacha Ano Sabaranas Chakshu Harishnushcha Traya Sutaha Sabharanat Kalanara Srinjayastat-sutastataha Shri Sukha Uvacha Ano Sabaranas Chakshu Harishnushcha Traya Sutaha Sabharanat Kalanara Srinjayastat-sutastataha Ano Sabaranas Chakshu Harishnushcha Traya Sutaha Sabharanat Kalanara Srinjayastat-sutastataha Shri Sukha Uvacha Harishnushcha Traya Sutaha Sabharanat Kalanara Jayastataha. Word for word synonyms. Sri Sukavacha. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, Anoho of Anu, the fourth of four sons of Yayati. Sabarana, Chakshu, Harishnu, Cha, also, Triyaha, three, Sutaha, sons, Sabaranat, from Savanara, Kalanara, Srinjaya, Tatsutaha, son of Kalanara, Tataha, thereafter. Translation. Sukadeva Goswami said, Anu, the fourth son of Yayati, had three sons, named Sabanara, Chakshu, and Parashnu. O king, from Sabarana came a son named Kalanara, and from Kalanara came a son named Srinjaya. There's no purport, so we'll go on. From Srinjaya came a son named Janamejaya. From Janamejaya came Mahashala. From Mahashala, Mahamana. And from Mahamana, two sons named Ushinara and Tatishu. The four sons of Ushinara were Shivi, Vara, Krimi, and Daksha. And from Shivi again came four sons named Rishabdar, Sudhira, Madra, and Atma Tattva Dit Kekaya. The son of Sitikshu was Rushadrata. From Rushadrata came Homa, from Homa Sutapa, and from Sutapa came Bali. As the semen of Vrigatama and the wife of Bali, the emperor of the world, 6 sons took birth, namely Anga, Vanga, Kalinga, Suma, Undra, and Udra. These 6 sons, headed by Anga, later became kings of the 6 states in the eastern side of India. These states were known according to the names of the respective kings. And from Anga came a son named Kalapana, and from Kalapana came Divirata. From Diviratha came a son named Dharmaratha, and his son was Chitraratha, who was celebrated as Romapad. Romapad, however, was without issue, and therefore his friend Maharaj Dasarath gave him his own daughter named Shanta. Romapad accepted her as his daughter, and therefore she married Rishashringa. When the demigods from the heavenly planets failed to shower rain, Rishashringa was appointed the priest for performing a sacrifice after being brought from the forest by the allurement of prostitutes. He danced, staged theatrical performances accompanied by music, and embraced and worshipped him. That makes sense? Let's do that again. Rishashringa was appointed the priest for performing sacrifice after being brought from the forest by the allurement of prostitutes who danced, staged theatrical performances accompanied by music, and embraced and worshipped him. After Rishashringa came, the rain fell. Therefore, Rishashringa performed a sun-giving ceremony on behalf of Maharaj Dasarath, who had no issue. And then Maharaj Dasarath had sons. From Romapad, by the mercy of Rishashringa, Chaturanga was born, and from Chaturanga came Pitu Laksha. The sons of Pitu Laksha were Brihadrata, Brihatkarma, Brihatbhanu. From the eldest, Brihadrata, came a son named Brahmana, and from Brahmana came a son named Jayadrata. The son of Jayadrata by the womb of his wife, Sambhuti, was Vijaya, and from Vijaya, Dhriti was born. From Dhriti came Dritavrata. From Dritavrata, Satkarma, and from Satkarma, Adirata. When playing on the bank of the Ganges, Adirata found a baby wrapped up in a basket. The baby had been left by Kunti because he was born before she was married. Because Adirata had no sons, he raised this baby as his own. His son was later known as Karna. O king, the only son of Karna was Vrishasena. Druyu, the third son of Yayati, had a son named Babru, and the son of Babru was known as Setu. The son of Setu was Arabda. Arabda's son was Gandhara. Gandhara's son was Dharma. Dharma's son was Dhriti. Dhriti's son was Dormada. And Dormada's son was Acheta, who had 100 sons. Prachetas, the sons of Pracheta, occupied the northern side of India, which was devoid of Vedic civilization, and became kings there. Yayati's second son was Turvasu. The son of Turvasu was Vani. The son of Vani, Varga, and the son of Varga, Vanuman. Two more verses. The son of Vanuman was Tribanu, and his son was the magnanimous Karandama. Karandama's son was Marut, who had no sons rather, and who therefore adopted a son of the Puru dynasty, Maharaj Dushmanta, as his own. Maharaj Dushmanta, desiring to occupy the throne, returned to his original dynasty, the Puru dynasty, even though he had accepted Maruta as his father. O Maharaj Parikshit, let me now describe the dynasty of Yadu, the eldest son of Maharaj Yadu, the eldest son of Maharaj Yayati. This description is surprisingly pious, and it vanquishes the reactions of sinful activities in human society. Simply by hearing this description, one is freed from all sinful reactions. This is the verse that has a purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, the Supersoul in the hearts of all living entities, descended in his original form as a human being in the dynasty or family of Yadu. Yadu had 4 sons, namely Sahasrajit, Kostya, Nala, and Ripu. Of these 4, the eldest, Sahasrajit, had a son named Shattachit, who had 3 sons named Mahahaya, Renuhaya, and Haya. Srila Prabhupada's purport. As confirmed in the Srimad-bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, verse 11, Vadanti tat tatvavidas tatvam yajganam advayam prameti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdute. Anyone know the verse I just quoted? Yeah. This is important. This is a very important verse. From the second chapter of the Srimad-bhagavatam. Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagavan. The majority of transcendentalists understand only the impersonal Brahman, or localized Paramatma. For the personality of Godhead is very difficult to understand, as the Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 3, quoted this many times recently. Manushanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam apisiddhanam kaschin mang veti tattvataha. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection. And of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. From Bhagavad Gita. The yogis and jnanis, that is, the mystic yogis and the impersonalists, can understand the absolute truth as impersonal or localized, but all those such realized souls are above ordinary human beings. They cannot understand how the supreme absolute truth can be a person. Okay. Therefore, it is said that out of many siddhas, the souls who have already realized the absolute truth, one may understand Krishna, who exactly resembles a human being, Narakriti. This human form was explained by Krishna himself after he manifested the Virat Rupa. The Virat Rupa is not the original form of the Lord. The Lord's original form is Dvibhuja Shamasundara, Murlidhar, the Lord with two hands playing a flute. Young Shama Sundaram Chintya Guna Swarupam. The Lord's forms are proof of his inconceivable qualities. Although the Lord maintains innumerable universes, within the period of his breath, he is dressed with a form. He is dressed with a form exactly like that of a human being. That does not mean, however, that he is a human being. This is his original form. Because he looks like a human being, those with a poor fund of knowledge consider him as an ordinary man. The Lord says, Avajananti mangudha manushim tanu ashritaha parang bhavang rajanato mama bhuta maheshwaram. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, fools deride me when I descend in this human form. They do not know my transcendental nature and my supreme dominion over all that be. It's from chapter 9, verse 11 of Bhagavad Gita. By the Lord's Parang Bhavam, or transcendental nature, he is the all-pervading Paramatma living in the core of the hearts of all living entities, and he looks like a human being. Mayavad philosophy says that the Lord is originally impersonal. They say he's originally, Mayavadis say that he is originally impersonal, but assumes a human body and many other forms when he descends. Actually, however, he is originally like a human being, and the impersonal Brahman consists of the rays of his body, Yasha Prabha Abhavato Jagat Anandakoti. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Ganachana Sarakaya Chakshurun Militam Nina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, Srila Prabhupada quotes a few verses here in his purport. Vedanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yaj jnanam admayam prameti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdate. So the point is that the Lord, the absolute truth, he has three different forms. It's not that there is, the three different forms are Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. It's not that the three separate personalities, but it's one personality who has the different aspects of this one personality, the Supreme Lord. So So the impersonalists, which are far outnumber the personalists, they're especially attracted to the form of the impersonal form, which is actually Krishna's effulgence. They're attracted to Krishna's effulgence, because they're thinking that is the highest perfection. But actually, it's nothing but the effulgence of Krishna's body. And then those who go beyond that, they can come to the realization that there's the Lord in the heart, all pervading. He's everywhere. Krishna's form as Kshirodakshai Vishnu. One of Kshirodakshai Vishnu is everywhere. So he's in the heart of every living entity, and he is also even in the atom. You can imagine. We can imagine that God is so big. Mahavishnu is so big that from his breathing and from the little pores in the skin that we can't even see those pores in the skin. But he's so big that from his pores in the skin, and maybe some breathing too, whole universes are expanding. Actually, the universe is actually started off small, but still he is big, Mahavishnu. And then on the other extreme, the Supreme Lord is also he's situated within our heart. So Srila Prabhupada describes, it's written somewhere, the size of the supersoul, hopefully for a human being, is more or less 8 inches. It says, in terms of our bodies go.
Is that the super soul?
Yeah, the supersoul.
I thought it was one.
No, that's us. That's the spirit soul. That's the jiva soul. Yeah. Well, just repeating what it said. I'll look it up for you. I don't remember exactly. And then in the second canto of Srimad-bhagavatam, there's a whole chapter about the Lord in the heart. And I'm sure it's there. In this chapter, I don't remember the chapter, but it's the second canto. Yeah, there's one chapter called the Lord in the Heart, and there's a detailed description of the form of the Lord in the heart. Second canto, I don't remember which chapter it was. It's the second canto for sure. One of the first few chapters. Anyway, So the spirit soul, and the jiva soul, I should say, the jiva soul, yes, it's described as so small. It says it's 1/10,000th the tip of a hair. So we look at a hair, and we can't even see the tip. You go to the very, 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 very end of that tip of that hair, which is almost like it's a point, because it's so small. And then divide that in 10,000 pieces, and that's how big we are. We, the soul, are. But that soul, of course, is actually, although very small and insignificant, and weak or not powerful compared to Krishna, but that said, the little jiva soul is actually quite powerful. And the same jiva soul that we have in our body, or that we are in this body, and we are the soul within this body. That same, for a human being, we have little souls in here, in the area of the heart also. And of course obviously there's life. But an elephant, should I go to use the example of elephants because it's one of the bigger animals in the world. So an elephant also has Shiva soul in there. So that little soul is making empowering the big elephant, and that same Shiva soul, same quality of soul, can be in a very very small body, the size of a one cell organism, and even those one celled organisms are extremely complex. You can actually look at them and analyze them. And all that is being, and the life force in that, of course, is the soul, and the super soul is also there. Of course, for the one-celled creatures, the super soul is a different size. For human beings, it's described about the size I said. In any case, that's the Paramatma. And then the same Paramatma, the same Kshirodaksha Vishnu, who is known as the Paramatma, he also resides on the sweet planet within the material universe. So he is everywhere, and he's also inside the atom. So the atoms are, I'm not sure, atoms smaller than the Jiva soul. Anyway, he's very. The super soul is inside of everything, so he changes his size according to where he is. So this 8 inches or the size of a thumb like that is compared. That's relative to our bodies. In any case, so we're talking about there's the Brahman realization there, and which is actually it's the effulgence of the Lord. There's the Paramatma realization, which is higher, and there is some personal understanding to some degree. And then there is Bhagavan realization. So Krishna, so Lord Krishna is saying here in the next verse he quotes, Shobha quotes, out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. And what is that perfection? Perfection means at least something transcendental. At least, Brahman realization is not great, but it's at least it's transcendental to the material. Brahman realization is not the highest, but it's something beyond the 3 modes of material nature. That realization. So that's so it's a form of perfection, but Lord Krishna says, out of many thousands among men, only one may even try to do something which is beyond this material world. Only one can do something which is beyond this material world, something beyond because most people, even in Vedic culture, most people were following Vedic principles to try to get elevated to the heavenly planets or try to get some better material situation in this world like this. That was for most people, that was the endeavor. And when they became frustrated with that, then they became gradually start thinking about liberation. But that liberation, at least in the beginning stages, is simply Brahman realization, impersonal realization. I'm here, I'm suffering, I'm tired of all this nonsense in this world. Let me transcend this, and just merge into the white light, and merge into the effulgence. And they don't know the effulgence of the Lord. They know this Brahman realizations. And so many people try to do that. And then there are those who are elevated a little more and understand that there's a personal form of the Lord within the heart, that's the Paramatma. And then there are few, relatively few, who go beyond that and we come to the realization of knowing Krishna in truth. Knowing Krishna in truth means we understand Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and actually I have a personal relationship with him. That's very, very elevated. And somehow or other, we may not have full realization, but somehow or other, we're from the beginning of taking the path of Krishna consciousness, we are given this knowledge, aren't we? We join this movement, unless we happen to be from India background. We join this movement, and right off we're saying, "Oh, God is actually personal. Look at him. He's personal, and we have the relationship with him like that. That's actually very, very high realization. If we're actually realizing it. So, by the mercy of, we were talking yesterday about the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya didn't give some other path that people in general would gradually, very slowly come up to the platform of the lower stages of realizing God. He gave the method and the goal, the purpose, told what the perfection is, and that perfection is to engage directly in the Lord's devotional service. And by practicing that perfection, practicing that devotional service, sadhana bhakti means practice of devotional service. By practicing that devotional service, then we can, if we take it seriously, finish up our business in this material world. We can finish up in this lifetime. We're at this point, we can finish up in this lifetime. And this is what Srila Prabhupada always encouraged. He said, you chant your 16 rounds, you follow the 4 regular principles, and if you could do this until the end of your life, then in the end, Krishna will make sure that he'll take you back to the spiritual world. If we can keep it. So, and we may think that this chanting is, chanting 16 rounds. Well, I can chant 16 rounds, maybe 2 hours if we concentrate. And the 4 regulative principles are, it doesn't take any time. It's just a matter of being a gentleman, as Srila Prabhupada says, and keeping the vow. So we may think, okay, this is very easy. I'll spend 2 hours a day. I'll chant Hare Krishna, and they say easy as pie, of course. But the reality is that as we are following the path, of course, Maya starts. Maya has a job. Material energy. She has a job, and her job is to make sure that when we do eventually go back to the spiritual world, we don't become troublemakers there. Right? That's her job. She's the prison keeper. You call it warden, I guess you say. So she's the warden of the prison of the material world. And by the time, because in a regular prison, ideally, it doesn't really work this way, but ideally, you go in there, you suffer for some time, you're being in a prison, and by the time you get out, you're supposed to be a first-class, law-abiding citizen. Of course, it doesn't really work so well in there, but once you get out of the Maya's prison, once we get out, then we don't make that mistake, and we are good citizens, and then we can go back to the spiritual world. So her job, we say job, service for Krishna. Her service is to make sure that the living entities, by the time we get out of the material world, we'll be fully Krishna conscious, and we won't mess up the next time and become problematic in the spiritual world. Of course, even if we're in the spiritual world, if it becomes problematic, then we're immediately out. So, but we may think that if I'm, we may think, okay, we know that we've been probably millions and billions, trillions of lifetimes. No one can say. And so many species of life up and down. We know that from Vedic scriptures. And so we may think, I've been through this for such a long time. If I go back to the spiritual world, what if I make a mistake? What if I think about, oh, the material world looks interesting, and then we're back there? No, but Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, once having returned to my eternal abode, you'll never take birth in this material world again. You'll never fall in Maya again, material Maya. Spiritual Maya, maybe, meaning that we see Krishna as we forget who Krishna is, that we see him as our friend or our lover or something like that in the spiritual world, but we don't. But we will not fall into the material Maya. We're in yoga Maya in the spiritual world to associate with Krishna in an intimate way. But once having returned to the spiritual world, we will never fall into the material Maya again, as Krishna says. Anyway, there's a couple points there. Any questions, comments?
Don't stop, and you end up getting the elements. That's the one question. What is our ability to do that? And what is the mercy of the and when you take it, you gotta just go on with it. And when it's time to die, Yamada Krishna, he asked him that question. He asked him, what is
I'm not even familiar with this one.
When he talked about it, they're like, well, we don't think Yamaraj. And then asked him. And then they go to Yamaraj. He asked him that question. What is the power of the Lord? What is serving to and the Yamaraj, he doesn't know. What? This is kind of a deep question. Well, let's go to Guatemala. Let's ask this question. And they go to Guatemala and he asks the same question. And the one's like, this question, that's honestly, I don't know. And then Guatemala goes, let's go to Shiva. Shiva, he asks that question. At that point, he's like, when he feels empowered, he's like, oh, I want to do something here. And Lord Shiva's like, also, I don't know, you gotta ask Vishnu. And then they go to the spiritual world, they ask Vishnu, and then Vishnu's like, you guys are smart. I guess we stay here. Because once you're in the spiritual world, that's it.
Yeah.
You don't come back.
Yeah, once having gone back to the spiritual world, we don't come back here again.
So by the mercy of God, I guess that's the focus of it. You just go and ask one question and follow that only one instruction.
Yes, I never heard that before, but that's the, the principle is there. Yes. We also have our one instruction. We chant around, follow, chant Hare Krishna, avoid the sinful activities, and try to get others, help others to chant.
But this guy knew simple. He was doing all that nonsense. I mean, that's kind of the subtle idea. And you keep following instructions, and eventually,
Yes, so we also came here, since we joined the movement, probably we were doing all kinds of nonsense. So we were given the instructions, and you follow these basic principles. Uh, uh, Chant Hare Krishna. In fact, Srila Prabhupada said we said no, you said you all, that's all. We've been here going through the cycle of birth and death for so long, and still we're not happy. So he said just give one lifetime, 100% for Krishna. Just give one lifetime for Krishna. You've had millions of lifetimes, billions of lifetimes for Maya, and still you're not happy. So just give one lifetime completely for Krishna, and then you'll be fully satisfied. And then you'll go back to the spiritual world. So, okay? Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you.